The rain had been coming down for hours, a relentless, drumming rhythm against the roof of the old Chevrolet. Arthur Jenkins pulled into the parking lot of the Starlight Motel just as the last sliver of twilight bled from the sky. It was late, sometime past 11, on a Tuesday night in the early spring of 1987. The Starlight was exactly what its name implied, a relic. Faded neon sign flickering, casting a sickly pink glow onto the wet asphalt. A single-story, U-shaped structure, ringed by a walkway and a series of identical, unassuming doors. Arthur was tired. He'd been driving since dawn, heading east on a long, solitary journey he rarely spoke about. He checked in, paid cash for one night. Room 114. The desk clerk, a young man with tired eyes, handed him a brass key on a heavy chain. Arthur nodded, a quiet, polite man in his late 40s, carrying a single worn leather duffel bag. He wished the clerk a good night, his voice a low rumble, and walked out into the damp chill. Room 114 was at the far end of the U, tucked away from the main office. Arthur found it, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. The air was cool, smelling faintly of lemon polish and stale cigarette smoke. He flicked on the light, a single dim ceiling fixture, and surveyed the space. A double bed, a small television bolted to a dresser, a lopsided armchair, and a compact bathroom. Utterly unremarkable. He placed his duffel bag on the floor beside the bed, kicked off his shoes, and then... nothing. No one saw him again. The next morning, the rain had stopped, replaced by a thick, oppressive fog that clung to the motel like a shroud. At precisely 11:30 a.m., Maria Rodriguez, the Starlight's long-serving cleaning lady, made her way down the silent corridor. Her cart rattled softly, the only sound in the oppressive quiet. She reached room 14. The "Do Not Disturb" sign was not on the door. It was checkout time, but no one had emerged. Maria knocked once, a light rap, no answer. She knocked again, a little louder. Still nothing. She tried the handle. It was locked from the inside. This wasn't unusual. Some guests simply slept in or had already left their keys at the front desk. Maria sighed, retrieved her master key, and let herself in. The room was dark, the heavy curtains drawn tight against the morning. She reached for the light switch, and then she froze. The room was utterly still. The bed was unmade, a blanket thrown back as if someone had just gotten up. A half-empty glass of water sat on the nightstand. On the dresser, Arthur Jenkins' wallet, still containing his driver's license and a modest amount of cash, lay beside a set of car keys. His duffel bag was still on the floor, unzipped, revealing a neatly folded shirt and a toiletry kit. A novel, face down, rested on the armchair. Nothing seemed out of place, yet everything felt terribly wrong. The window was latched, the bathroom door ajar, revealing an unused towel. Arthur Jenkins had simply vanished. Maria, her heart beginning to pound, backed slowly out of the room. She immediately alerted the desk clerk, who in turn called the local sheriff's department. Deputy Thomas Riley was the first to arrive, his patrol car cutting a path through the lingering fog. He entered room 114 cautiously, his flashlight beam cutting through the gloom, even though the ceiling light was now on. His initial assessment mirrored Maria's. No signs of forced entry, no struggle, no broken glass, no overturned furniture. The room was undisturbed, almost pristine, save for the telltale signs of a guest who had briefly occupied it. Arthur Jenkins' car, a silver Chevrolet, was still parked outside, exactly where he'd left it. Its doors were locked. Inside, a road atlas lay open on the passenger seat, a faint red line marking a route further east. Further investigation revealed no hidden passages, no crawl spaces, no secret exits. The walls were solid, the floorboards secure. The only way in or out was the door Maria had unlocked, and the window, which was securely latched from the inside. The motel staff confirmed Arthur Jenkins was the only person assigned to room 114 that night. Detectives canvassed the area, speaking with other guests who were checking out. No one remembered seeing anything unusual. No strange noises, no arguments, no hurried departures. Arthur Jenkins had entered room 114 and simply ceased to exist within its four walls. It was as if he had evaporated into the very air. His family, contacted a day later, confirmed Arthur had been heading to visit his sister a few states over. He was a creature of habit, meticulous, and not prone to impulsive decisions. He certainly wasn't the type to abandon his car, his wallet, and all his belongings without a word. There was no history of mental illness, no financial troubles that anyone knew of, no known enemies. One theory suggested he might have slipped out unnoticed, perhaps through the window, and intended to return. But why leave everything behind? Why lock the door from the inside if he planned to come back? And how could he have exited the window without disturbing the latch, or without being seen, especially with his car still sitting there? Another chilling thought was that someone else was involved, but the total lack of forced entry or struggle made this improbable. Had someone gained access with a duplicate key? Even then, the orderly state of the room, the untouched possessions, defied explanation. It was as if Arthur had willingly and calmly walked out of his life, leaving behind only an unsettling silence. Years passed. The Starlight Motel eventually closed its doors, its faded neon sign finally giving up its ghost. Room 114 became a forgotten space, another empty shell in a world full of unanswered questions. The case of Arthur Jenkins remains open, a cold file in a dusty cabinet, a mystery whispered among the old-timers who remember the inexplicable disappearance. He checked in, he paid for his room, he settled in for the night. And then, without a trace, without a witness, from a room locked from the inside, Arthur Jenkins was gone. The Starlight Motel simply held his last known footsteps, and a chilling void where a man once stood. His journey abruptly and impossibly ended there. What truly happened inside room 114 on that foggy spring morning in 1987 remains a profound and disturbing question, lingering in the quiet dark.